Hello! Hi, folks! You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in sunny Southern California, and that guy out there is...
Eric Zandona in Crestview, Florida.
Welcome to Florida, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm now officially Florida man.
You're up, yeah. Before he was Vancouver man, but now he's Florida man. How's your alligator wrestling skills?
Probably pretty poor.
Okay. All right. Today, folks, we have, I don't know if you can see this behind me, we have an array of agave spirits. And I want to thank the folks that made this happen. And these people are out of, let me get their name because they really went out of their way to get us this stuff.
Ansley Cole is one of the head guys.
Craft Distillers is the website. They're actually, it says here Castara Imports. So they're in, I believe, in Ukiah, but the website is Craft Distillers, and they handle a lot of weird, unusual stuff that I'm excited about. Yeah. And as usual, I'm throwing the kitchen sink at Eric because, you know, Eric, look at what we got here. Mexicat. I love this name. I love what they got here. It's like a little jaguar.
Yeah.
And, rare artisanal silver. This is Zona de Origen Mezquital del Oro, Zacatecas. Now, if you folks remember last year, Eric and I did a tastings of several from an importer, small distributor out of Arizona who has a beautiful portfolio. One of the ones that we had was a Palmilla. Palmilla is a sotol that's outside the denomination of origin. This is an agave spirit made with, it's agave maximiliana, which generally they make raicilla from. Yeah. So technically this is raicilla outside of the denomination of origin coming from Zacatecas. Okay, you need GPS to figure this out. but anyway, I've got all my stossels here that I normally use for mezcal. This one is only 80 proof though, folks. Yeah. So I'm hoping I see some perlas, some bubbles.
No, perlas is later.
Yeah. We actually have another one called perlas, and we'll get to that We'll get to that in one of our episodes, our upcoming episodes of Sipping Off the Cuff. Okay, so we got this open. I'm gonna pour mine in my stossel. It's crystal clear. That for sake like that. Now, Eric, have you ever had raicilla? You've had it, haven't you?
I have. It's not something that I have, regularly stocked in my, cabinet, but it's something I've definitely had before. There's some really nice expressions out there from several brands. So
we have had a few. I think Estancia is one of my first favorites that I've ever had, and that was really nice and herbal and fruity and. Oh. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Wow. Just talk about herbal and fruity.
Yeah.
This is it right here.
You hit it on the nose. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting everything. I'm getting a little bit of anise in the center. I'm getting virtually no alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, it's there in the background, but it's really carrying up all these really fantastic aromas. There's lots of like fresh herbs but also like some, white pepper maybe, but then tropical fruit like mandarin and mango, papaya maybe.
Oh my goodness! This is a fruit salad.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! It's lovely, and it does remind me a lot of Estancia. Estancia was I think the first one that we actually tasted. They were initially in the UK only, and then somehow we managed to get a couple of 375s. and we fell in love with it. And it was only 80 proof at that point. So I understood that Raicilla, like Mezcal, was coming in at higher proofs. And since that time, Alex and I have had a few Raicillas that had higher proof, but from different regions.
Yeah.
And this one is very reminiscent of Estancia.
Yeah. And like, despite, yeah, for people who are, really into mezcal and raicilla, it's often, you kind of get used to higher ABVs, but there's a ton of like aroma coming out even at 40%.
This
So
Yeah, well, there's not a whole lot of information. The information we got from the folks about Mexicat was more about the raicilla, uh,
mhm.
as opposed to this technical. Technically, I guess for all intents and purposes, this is a raicilla, but it is outside the denomination of
Right.
origin, which is only Jalisco. So it's in Zacatecas, where they make mezcal also.
Right.
But I think that it says there's not a whole lot of information on the label either, but it's rare artisanal. So I'm going to err on the side of artisanal and say that they're using probably Raicilla goes way back. It says in the information in time its distillation was introduced in the 1600s from the Spanish colonies in the Philippines,
Yeah.
which resulted in common use of the primitive Filipino double chamber clay pot, clay still. Um, I will tell you, Eric, when I've had like mezcals in clay pots, you can, olla de barro, you can
Yeah.
smell that, you can taste it. I don't smell it on the nose on this one. It smells very bright and fruity.
Yeah, I don't get necessarily the clay. I mean, some of the pictures that they have online show basically a large, like maybe it's copper, maybe it's stainless steel pot. So that's not too surprising. The one interesting thing, again, like we said, we're not exactly sure, what they're doing, because like what they're talking about on their website, mostly dealing with the raicilla. So I'm not sure if they're using the same process for this product in Zacatecas, but for raicilla, rather than having like a below ground like earth oven like you find in Oaxaca or in other parts of Mexico that are making mezcal, they'll build like basically a brick adobe like oven. It looks like sort of like a giant pizza, and they will basically, they'll get logs on fire, get them burning hot, let them go to ash, and then they pack the, imagine this giant pizza oven full of agave, and then just seal it up and let it cook that way.
Wow.
And so, so hot work, right? Hot work.
Well, yeah, it's very
So
labor intensive, and
yeah.
and I know the mezcal industry is up in it's in disarray right now, but there are certain levels of production, ancestral, artisanal, industrial. Those are the three categories within mezcal that the states operate under. And this one says artisanal. So, and being that you and I had a mezcal from Zacatecas that is technically made from blue agave
Mm-hmm.
and made like tequila, but they
Yeah.
can't call it that. So,
Right.
so it's cooked in autoclaves. So it doesn't surprise me that this is more of a modernized version, perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
than the artisanal or ancestral
Right.
versions of the raicilla.
Yeah.
I'm ready
Ryan,
to.
yeah,
I'm ready
let's
to
take a
dive in.
drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. 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 It's on the flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is a clay kind of
Mm-hmm.
aroma. I was going to mention too that there was a hint of smoke in the nose, just a hint, and it was just starting to
Mm-hmm.
open up for me. but it's not very prevalent at all. Um, your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is really, like, I'd say this packed full of flavor, really intense. That, like, at 4%, like, if you went up above this, like, it'd probably be blow your socks off.
Yeah.
So really, really good stuff. Really, I'd say intensely herbal on the palate. It's got some minty character that kind of like lightly kind of dances across your tongue. It's got this, not sure what you might call it exactly, maybe wintergreen or something like that. That's just kind of lightly there. It's part of the sort of effervescence and liveliness of the spirit. Not like I don't really get much fruit on the palate, but then towards the end, slightly saline, like slightly salty, but then a little bit of like smokiness.
Yes.
But yeah, so really nice stuff though.
It certainly isn't boring, because the nose is different from the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will say that the smoke is doing what it's supposed to do. It's coating the palate a little bit. It is lingering on the tongue, and you know, and I did get some clay as well. I was probably from the oven itself, whatever they're using. I'm not sure if they're using autoclave, if they're using the mamposteria, the brick, you know, the brick oven, the Adobe oven.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that there is Adobe involved somewhere, you know.
Yeah, there is I'd say there is like an earthy quality to it that definitely it kind of stands out on the flavor. That it's probably coming from some part during the cooking, fermentation, distillation somewhere that's carrying through. Really nice.
It's beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm so glad this year we've had actually, partially from these craft distiller folks, we've had Ricea sent to us earlier in the year, and of course those Riceas are completely different from.
Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing to me that even within a small state like Jalisco, that you have the microclimates really shine through, and the hand of the maker really shines through, and I get that more from Ricea than I have been getting from the mezcal lately. Although some mezcals, you know, from Oaxaca, they're even the microclimates in Oaxaca, but then you've got certain other states that are allowed to make it.
Yeah.
But this reminds me a lot of sotols too. You know, the sotols that you and I have had, where the hand of the maker in the region really make a difference, where the plant's coming from.
Yeah.
The information that we have here is that the master distiller, see if they give us his name. Wild, of course, these are all wild harvested Maximiliana, which sometimes they call Lechuguilla. They actively have Maximiliana seedlings. They have the information that they gave us is they're showing they have a nursery, and they're actively replanting. Jorge Alvarez, who also produces mezcal in Zacatecas and tequila, is very concerned with sustainability and is deeply engaged in cultivating the Maximiliana. So this gentleman, this Jorge Alvarez, has got his fingers in every pie, man.
Yeah, I just found a different piece of information for this specific spirit from Zacatecas. It says here that it's being made by a man named Don Lupe Castro and Mezquital de Oro.
Yeah, and that's what it says on the label. The label does not tell us who the master distiller is, but the information that I read does.
So
I guess they're two different people.
Online, they identify the distiller for this as Don Lupe Castro.
Okay. Well, Don Lupe has got a winner on his hands. This is beautiful. This is since you've also delved into cocktails, would you put this in a cocktail, or what would you do with this?
So yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously, you can enjoy it, and I'm gonna do that right now. And but like this, I would say, like you could easily, use this in a, sort of what I would call like a minimal margarita. So just like this, lime juice and like an orange liqueur, whether that's triple sec or curacao or whatever you prefer, right? So just a really simple 3 ingredient, margarita. You could do that. You could use this in a Paloma. It would be really nice.
Would
I
you
think
substitute gin for this?
What's that?
Would you substitute a gin for this in any of the gin cocktail?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could. I could see this actually working well because of that herbal character that it has, working well with like tonic. If you wanted to make yourself like agave and tonic drink, with a little like squeeze of lime, that would probably work really nice. So yeah, I also like this would work well. One of my favorite drinks from Oaxaca was the sort of mezcal Negroni. So this would work
Oh,
really well in that. With I think the herbal character would work well against the Campari, and it's got enough flavor and oomph, even though it's not, a high ABV spirit. It would work. I think it would compete well with the Campari and make a really nice cocktail. So you could use it that way. Price point wise, it seems like it might be in like the $50 range. So it's not going to be your everyday cocktail kind of spirit. So I would
yeah.
probably just enjoy it.
For the beauty, well, here, first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is a
Yeah.
Brand of Promise nominee for sure. It's going to, I guess we're going to call it an agave spirit,
Yeah.
and I'll define it because the Palmilla was just as enchanting that we had last year. This is gorgeous. And what a different, like I say, we've had several raicillas from different regions this year, and these they just don't compare. It's apples and oranges, the region, the hand of the maker, the process, all that really, and even the plant that they're using. Some of them use, medleys. They use more than one because they're allowed to use 9 different plants, something strange like that, to make raicilla.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, this is only Maximiliana, so that makes a whole hell of a lot of difference anyway. So, Brand of Promise nominee. What else can we say? If you guys can find it or see it, I don't know where it's available right now. I'd imagine it's probably in major markets like New York, maybe California.
Yeah.
For starters. Maybe even Central California. You might. These folks are out of Ukiah, and I think that they have an LA-based office as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, congrats to these guys. Wow,
Yeah.
thank you for making that happen. That's beautiful. Stick with us, folks. We have an array of agave spirits for you. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That guy out there is
Eric Zandona in Crestview, Florida.
You've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Give us a like because it helps the algorithm. You can follow Eric on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram, and whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Live wisely.